I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with you to celebrate Founders Day with you. And I think I want to start off by thanking those of you who've come out tonight to show your support for the Tahirih Justice Center and the many folks in this room who give that support year-round and the incredible contributions that you make to our work. So I'm Jeanne Smoot. I'm Tahirih's Director of Public Policy, and I've been with Tahirih now for about 7 years. And I think it's one of the reasons it's so wonderful to be with you here tonight is that I don't think it's any exaggeration to say that without Maggio Kattar and without specifically the late and very great Michael Maggio, Tahirih might not even be here today, and certainly wouldn't be where we are today. So we are incredibly grateful for that. And I want to share with you a little bit of that history so you can appreciate just how meaningful that support has been to us over time. So as many of you know, our founder, Layli Miller-Muro, was involved in a landmark asylum case that was decided in 1996. It was called the Matter of Pasinga, and it basically established that gender-based persecution could be a valid grounds for asylum. And our founder at that time was a law student. And so there was a lot of interest in her case, the parallels between her as a young woman and the young woman that she was helping. And it led to co-authoring a book, Do They Hear You When You Cry? And Layli took her part of the proceeds of that book and helped to found the Tahirih Justice Center. And she felt moved to do that in the wake of all the publicity surrounding that case, and it was really very highly publicized. She was receiving all of these calls, desperate pleas for help from women who were in similar circumstances, and she would try to refer them out to other organizations. There really wasn't any or really very few options at that time to refer them out. So Layli had, at that point, clerked for Maggio Kattar, had been mentored by Michael Maggio, and had been, as she put it, advised on sometimes an hourly basis in that period with the legal insights and strategic advice that Michael would give her on Fausia Kisinger's case. And so when she came up with this idea about the Tahirih Justice Center, really Michael spurred her to go forward with it. He served on Tahirih's first board of directors, and he served as Tahirih's first director of legal services. And that story is so emblematic, it's so classic Michael, that I really wanted to share that anecdote with you today. It really exemplifies his passionate commitment to social justice and his really can-do drive. So I'll share with you what Layli shared with me about those early days. So apparently when Layli convened that first board meeting, you know, she had just gathered a couple of people, she tapped Michael, she tapped some others. She had on the agenda a very kind and generous offer from an AU law professor, an American University law professor, who said, I have an incoming cadre of clinic students, I can reserve some for you, I can dispatch them to you to work on Tahirih's cases. And while dutifully presenting this wonderful offer to the new board, Layli would tick off, you know, oh, these are all the reasons I don't think we can even take advantage of this, because we have no offices, we have clients, we have no staff, you know, we aren't there yet. And, you know, it sort of seemed like there was no particular way that Tahirih could accept that offer. Well, Michael Maggio apparently stepped forward immediately and he said, yes, you do. These are your offices. I'm your director of legal services, and you already have 4 clients. Really? News to me. What Michael did is he scouted around the firm. He said, well, we have some existing gender-based related asylum claims, and he filed new G28s for them. He, you know, transferred the cases to Tahirih, and you know this history better than I do, but and he served pro bono, really, as the first director of legal services for Tahirih. He mentored and supervised an AU law student throughout that first year, Irina Lieberman, and really it was that stability, that expertise, that infrastructure that we were given here that enabled us to apply for our first major grant from the Meyer Foundation here in Washington, D.C., and to actually hire that AU law student when she graduated as our first staff attorney. And without all that instrumental support, really, we could not have grown where we have come today. So, again, I think, you know, when Layli shared with the rest of the staff and many of us who hadn't at that point known this history, the sad news of Michael's passing some years ago, she wrote quite succinctly, but I think eloquently, that for me, he is to credit with everything. So, anyway, so I want to let you understand really what that legacy has grown to be. And I think, you know, despite the fact that I work for the place, I think it's a pretty impressive trajectory that we've taken. And so just a few stats, if you'll indulge me. Since 1997, when it was founded.
You can all move closer.
Yeah, come in. Come on in. Come join us. Yeah. So we've expanded in many different ways since that initial moment. Please come in. You are welcome. Please join us. I love microphones. This is fun. That's great. I have the mic. What else can I do? So since those first days, so starting with those 4, and the first year just sort of starting out, since 1997, through direct services and referrals, Tahirih has assisted over 11,000 women and children fleeing such violent abuses as female genital mutilation, so-called honor crimes, domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, rape as a tool of war, you name it, we cover it. And in addition, now we offer legal services not only to women and girls who are fleeing gender-based forms of harm and seeking safe haven under U.S. asylum laws, we now also have been pioneering some newer forms of legal relief under the Violence Against Women Act and the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. And in addition to immigration legal services now, we have a family lawyer on staff, and we also offer social services case management because we recognize, and it's a hard-learned lesson really, just how acute on how 360 the needs of this particular vulnerable population are. So in addition, we have a model for service delivery that heavily relies on the outside legal firms. We aim to place about 75% of our cases with a generous pro bono attorney network, and that enables us to serve that many more women and girls. We now have over 850 attorneys from over 130 law firms in that pro bono attorney network. And we have taken that model into other directions as well. We have a medical and mental health pro bono network and a public policy professionals network as well. So, and thanks to those partnerships, we are able to leverage better all the donations that we receive. We can translate basically $1 that we're given into about $5 of impact. We had a cash budget in 2009, I believe, of $1.9 million, compared with the value of our professional donated services of $7.7 million. So, and now we not only represent those individual clients, but my side of the shop is to engage in national public policy advocacy, and some highlights that we've hit there are we've drafted legislation that's been enacted into federal law. We've directly informed the content of advisories that immigrating foreign brides will receive every year that tell them about the rights and resources that are available to them if they're abused in this country, and that's upwards of 30,000 women a year that will get that information. So, and lastly, in 2009, we expanded nationally with the opening of an office in Houston, Texas, and we now have a presence in Baltimore, Maryland. So this, all of that, is the exponential impact of the original investment that Maggio Kattar and so many of you in this room made in the Tahirih Justice Center, and we are extremely and perpetually grateful for it. So on behalf of Tahirih's clients and Tahirih's staff, I just want to give our tremendous appreciation to you all for the work that you've done to bring us to this point, to the work that you continue to do, to the way in which you are always there for us and pulling together events like this and pulling together our community of supporters. And we just are really very grateful to you all, and to you too, Yoko, for your wonderful music this evening and this elegant occasion to be together. So thank you.